the Tory government, well, it's now 4 years ago, started bringing in even tighter legislation around balloting for strike action and taking strike action. And so it puts us into an ever-increasing difficult place in terms of being able to do it legally, because we can put a strike ballot out and we can return a ballot, but now they're saying that you've got to meet these severe thresholds of people returning ballots. So it's a very serious matter. We always have taken it seriously, but this legislation that we now have to get through means that we really have to make sure that everyone gets a ballot paper and everyone returns it. So that's something we've always had to do, but we just have to work a bit harder now, and it makes us actually better in a lot of ways. It makes us up our game. And there's lots of things that we've learned to do over the years, and I'm going to touch on those now. And just to say, it's very rare I've actually written them down. I've written some notes down to try and capture it all. And in a sense, because it becomes second nature when you've been doing it for years and years and years. And but actually, if you're doing it for the first time and you've been involved in it for the first time, it probably is good to make a plan and to write down for yourself, in discussion with your workmates and any reps or whatever, a plan to make sure that you get the ballot out, and to make sure that it's a yes vote, and then to organise the actual strike action itself as and when the union sets a strike action out. So just some thoughts sort of that I've kind of pulled out of my head regarding that, and just some general things really. Like when we're getting into a dispute and we're heading towards a ballot, it's really important to keep communicating with members, and that can be done in various ways, with your workmates in the workplace. One effective way is leaflets that are produced by the union, whether they're produced by your branch or by the national union itself or by the London Transport Regional Council, whatever regional council you belong to. It's good to make sure you get those leaflets. They usually have them at Uni House or at your branch, and make sure they're put out all over the workplace and put on notice boards, so people can see the leaflets with the issues around the dispute and why we need to go on strike and why the ballot's going to take place. So it's really important to do that. I mean, other things you can do that are really good to do and essential really is to get people's phone numbers that you work with. Maybe set up a WhatsApp group with as many of your workmates in it, so you can also put out messages through your phone to make sure that people understand the issue around the dispute. As you start heading towards the time when you're going to ballot, it's really important that we make sure that everyone has got the right details for their union membership with the union, so they can get a ballot paper. So it's really good to do that, to check everyone's details, get everyone to make sure they've got the correct details, even if you're the rep or helping the rep to do that in your workplace. And that's because there's a document that the union has to give by law to the employing company that you're employed by, that you're going on strike against, called a ballot matrix. It's a document that has all the members on it that are being balloted for strike action. And if that is wrong in any way, with mistaken addresses or things like that, or locations of where you work, the company can go to the courts and get an injunction on these silly little technicalities. Because let's face it, right? As working people, as the working class, what we've fundamentally got is each other. That's who we've got. We've got each other as sisters and brothers, members of the working class in the workplace. The employers have got loads of money behind them. They've got the media, and they've got the law courts, and they've got various other bodies. And they make use of them. So we've got to make sure that we get all of our details right for when we ballot, to make sure people get ballot papers sent to their address, and also to make sure their details are right on the ballot matrix that goes out. So that's about talking to members, as well as putting out leaflets and putting out, social media messages like WhatsApp. That's about talking to people. Another thing that's really important is that when branch meetings take place, or there might be strike meetings that are set up around the dispute, or what's called mass meetings, where all members are invited to a meeting where they can hear about the dispute, why we're balloting, what it is we're trying to achieve, what we're trying to stop the company from doing, or what we're trying to get for our members. all members are invited to these meetings, and it's really good to make sure that everyone knows about them and get people along, because at those meetings, all members are equal and can speak equally. They can raise any points they want to raise, any concerns or fears or worries, they can put these to the meeting, and it's an open and democratic forum where everyone can have a voice. So branch meetings leading up to a dispute, mass meetings or strike meetings. And what you can also do, if you're the rep, you can set up meetings sometimes, if you can do it, in your workplace. It is possible sometimes to do that, with management's permission. You're not going to get it if you set it for a strike meeting, but you can call it, set it for something else, and then tag the strike issue on the end of it, or however you want to do it. Or if you're not a rep, you can get the rep to call a meeting, and then you can speak from the floor and talk about the strike and the importance of voting and everything else that goes with it. So when the ballot papers come out, it's really important to make sure that everyone's got them and that they return them. And you can offer to explain to people how the ballot paper works if they have problems with it. You can help them to get a ballot paper if they've not got one, by either telling them how to contact Unity House, or by putting them in touch with a rep to do it, or by doing it yourself if you're the rep and contacting Unity House to get them a ballot papers sent out. So that's important to keep that going. And you can also use leaflets for that. Have you got a ballot paper yet? Yeah. If you haven't, contact this number, either your own number or the number of Unity House, to get one sent out. So these are the things you need to be doing. And as this is rolling along over the period that it takes for up until the ballot papers come out, and when they come out, it's still important all through that time to just keep talking with your workmates all the time, about the issues of the strike, why it's important, what's going to happen if we win, how it's going to be, but also the dangers if we don't, take strike action, if we don't push the bosses back when they're attacking us, what things are going to be like for us in the future, because often, the RMT doesn't ballot for no reason. We generally ballot when we're under attack, or once every so many years nowadays when we're looking for a pay rise because the cost of living's gone up. So, all of our disputes, by and large, you can explain to people in a way that they'll understand the need to vote, and to vote yes for action, and to take strike action as well. And there's another really crucial thing during a strike, and that is pickets. Pickets are members who are involved in the strike. When the strike is on, you picket your workplace. That means you stand by the entrance gates or doorways, or wherever you determine at your workplace, into the workplace, so that if people do come to work, you can reason with them and say, look, don't go to work, because you're helping the company if you do, to not give us a pay rise, or to change our hours, or to whatever it might be that the company are trying to currently do. So we need to have pickets there, because pickets basically help people to not go on strike who are wavering, and also people enjoy it. They enjoy being on pickets, but also it makes workmates feel that it's a really serious issue if they know they're going to be pickets outside the workplace, and it's all lawful and above board and everything as well. So in terms of doing that, as you start moving towards naming the strike day, because you have to give notice, so you've got some time, is to start looking for pickets. Just talk to your workmates, draw up leaflets, put out saying we need pickets, phone this number if you want to take part. Make it quite public so that people can see that you are recruiting pickets, because one, it makes people who are kind of maybe thinking about breaking a strike think twice. Secondly, it gets people involved, and it's a lot of fun. Being picketing is actually really good fun, even when it's freezing cold, and sometimes it is, you always have a good time, and you always feel that you've been more involved in the dispute as well. And secondly, management see, right? If they see that pickets are being recruited, they see that you're serious, and it's a message to management that this is a dispute and a strike that is engaging the entire workforce. One of the things that we used to do at Lily Bridge was we used to put out leaflets also announcing that we've got lots of pickets, we've got more than we need, but if you still want to join the party, you've still got time to get involved. And we used to put on the heading of these leaflets, we used to call them pickets progress. That's what we used to call them, right? And it's a regular thing that we do. And it makes it fun and it makes it enjoyable. And it is really important to the dispute, which is the main thing. So, and another thing, you know, when you've got to keep the dialogue going, keep the leaflets about the dispute, remind people about the issues, put leaflets out, and you can write your own as well. You know, you can write your own leaflets and print them up and put them out and talk to people, because management will come out of all sorts of lies. Management, there's a joke. How do you know when a manager is lying? The answer is their lips are moving. They will put out all sorts of lies about the strike not being warranted, that it's only going to make more problems, that it's not true. But it's really easy to refute these lies, because I've got to tell you, and it's not just because I'm a member of the RMT, but we are pretty straight. We are pretty straight. And when we put stuff out, it's factual. Management's lies are really generally easy to unpick. So it's important to put stuff out to refute that in the workplace as well, to keep the members on board, because management will go hell for leather to try and break up your unity and solidarity, because that's what they try and do, because they don't like us sticking together. So when you get to the point where the strike's coming up and it's looming, you know, we've had the ballot, we've set strike dates from the NEC, we've got pickets up and running. At some point, it's good to then get your picketing gear. That's armbands that go on your arm that says RMT picket, and also posters that says RMT picket line. And it's good to bring these into the workplace and let people see them sort of like around and about a bit. One, because again, members feel that this is a serious dispute and there's going to be picket lines. And also management see it as well. If you just kind of like leave a bit of it lying around along with the other literature, it really does kind of like let everyone know that this is going ahead, and that the union and you as a workforce are determined not to let management do you down, and you're standing up for yourself. So, and then you've got the strike itself, and you know, you get your pickets out there, make sure you've got some tea and coffee going, and you have some laughs and some jokes. You talk to people that come up to the picket line and explain to them what the issues are, ask them not to cross it, and so on and so forth. And then, you know, the strike is over. And then what's really important in terms of when the strike, that particular strike day or 2 days, however many it is over, what's really important is to then celebrate the strike, celebrate the success of the strike, hopefully, and also celebrate the picketing. Celebrate the picketing, congratulate pickets in leaflets. You know, put pictures up on social media if you like of people out picketing if you can. And make it part of conversation, you know, to talk it up and say how great it was that it was so well supported. What a laugh we had, you know, the tea and coffee was great, it really kept us warm, or in the summer, you know, let's have some cool drinks, and just kind of like really celebrate the success of all of you as workers going out on strike together, the strike being good and solid, and the strike being well picketed and getting ready for the next one. So that's just a sort of like a general kind of flavour of ideas of things that are quite important, but also good during a strike. And there's always people to help you with all those things. So there is quite a lot if you've not done it before. But, you know, we've all had to start somewhere. So we've all learnt this on the hoof, as you're going to do too. So thanks very much.